Recently, more and more former Trump administration officials have been coming out and being incredibly critical of the Trump administration, but we now have the first that's doing so sort of specifically having worked on the coronavirus response. This is Olivia Troye, who worked as Homeland Security, counterterrorism, and coronavirus advisor to Vice President Pence for 2 years. It's a wide portfolio there. Came out and said that the administration's response cost lives and that she will vote for Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden this fall because of her experience in the Trump White House. I mean, she was in the administration very recently, up until very recently. And we're gonna have more on how she was involved in that effort, more of her criticism, but I wanna go to a little bit of the video of her talking about that time.
I was Homeland Security and counterterrorism advisor to Vice President Pence and served as Vice President Pence's lead staff member on the COVID-19 response. You know, I've been on the COVID task force from day one. I mean, the virus was very unpredictable at the beginning. There were a lot of unknowns, but towards the middle of February, we knew it wasn't a matter of if COVID would become a big pandemic here in the United States. It was a matter of when. In a task force meeting, the president said, maybe this COVID thing is a good thing. I don't like shaking hands with people. I don't have to shake hands with these disgusting people. Those disgusting people are the same people that he claims to care about. These are the people still going to his rallies today who have complete faith in who he is. If the president had taken this virus seriously, or if he had actually made an effort to tell how serious it was, he would have slowed the virus spread. He would have saved lives. It was the opportunity and honor of a lifetime to be able to serve in the White House. I put my heart and soul into this role every single day. But at some points, I would come home at night, I would look myself in the mirror and say, are you really making a difference? Does it matter? Because no matter how hard you work and what you do, the president is gonna do something that is detrimental to keeping Americans safe, which is why you signed up for this role. It was awful. It was terrifying. I have been a Republican for my entire life. I am a McCain Republican, I am a Bush Republican, and I am voting for Joe Biden because I truly believe we are at a time of constitutional crisis.
Okay, so there's a lot more of that that's available, but understand that she was not, as we'll get to when Trump responds, some minor functionary that didn't have much to do with this. She apparently attended and helped organize every single meeting of the task force from February until July, working closely with Pence, establishing the agenda, all of that. Like, she was very, very tapped into it. And she is hardly the first person that, worked with Trump that has come out and said, I just at some point I have to be broken by how awful this person is and how little they seem to care. It is depressing that that's not going to get through. Like the quote about not wanting to shake people's hands. Like, if you go to Trump rally, he doesn't shake your hands. You know that. He just talked at one of the last ones about how he was far away from them, so he wasn't worried about catching the virus. Like, these are all insiders. This is not some never Trumper. Like, she worked for 2 years in that administration, but it doesn't matter. This endless parade of people who worked with Trump who are saying, no, he's terrible. And it doesn't matter, she's still a Republican. She's probably a deeply conservative individual, but it won't break through. It doesn't matter how many front row seat people you have talking about their time, about this important work and the cost. It's depressing that it probably won't matter.
And we know, that Trump thinks his supporters are gross. Like, it. And when he says like our stuff, remember there's that one quote where he says like, our boats are bigger, we're the elite. Our boats are bigger than them. What are you talking about? The big boats in the Republican Trump boat parade sank the little boats in the Republican Trump boat parade. That is everything you need to know about it in a nutshell. And also, like, she's listing the Republicans she's voted for. She was fine with George W. Bush, and this crosses a line. And you can't have someone who is more rah Americana than George W. Bush. Like, he is willing to go and invade random ass countries that had no, and lie. Like, that's pretty America.
Yeah.
But
well,
yeah.
Look, we have to be fair. We have to allow the president to respond. So he said to reporters that she was some kind of a lower level person. Like if Pence was criticizing him, he'd say he was a lower level person. Like everyone's a low level. There's only, the White House is Trump, and then there's very low level people. He said he doesn't remember meeting her or talking to her. That might have something to do with the fact that apparently we'll get to his participation in the task force meetings, but he very rarely went. So it is possible that he wouldn't have seen her, even though she was at all of them. He said she was terminated. They didn't want her. It reads to me like one more disgruntled employee that has decided to play politics during an election year. And I will just say, if you're a Trump supporter, like why is it that there's so many disgruntled employees coming out of this administration? Like hypothetically, people leave every administration. Why is it that there are so many that the second they're no longer working for Donald Trump, they're talking about how horrendous and all the dysfunction and all of that? Why? Trump is such a great boss. He really understands people. He's a great guy. Why is it that the loyalty he inspires while people are working for him, the second they're gone, they feel like they have to reveal the horrendous things they were exposed to?
Well, not all of them, sadly.
Not all of them, yes, but a lot.
And a lot of them in the pictures.
This didn't happen with Obama.
Correct. But here's the framing. So what do you think about this? I'm gonna play the devil's advocate.
Okay.
When it comes, so the one thing I don't even know if he's smart enough to fall back on, but I think it's kind of in that I am a Trump supporter. I only need like half of a thought to latch onto so I can excuse myself and just say, no, this is what's messed up, man. This is the real truth behind it. The post-truth is anytime someone from the administration leaves the administration, Trump got him out of that. He's draining the swamp. This is a person who's a lifelong bureaucrat, and Trump gets rid of those people. So what do you think? Do you think this will get through to them in the way I think that the Miles Taylor did kind of get through when he said, no, I am the the chief of staff of who put together a lot of these meetings, and I was there. My only hope, yeah.
I will just say how crazy this is and how many there have been. I sort of alluded to a parade. I had completely forgotten about that one. That was like a couple of weeks ago. I completely forgot about all that he revealed.
And these things should be over and over and over again, played on the air everywhere. She should go and be at events and speak out about it. And it's tough because I think it plays, the defense that the Trump administration has is like, you've got these people who've been in politics for hundreds of years. People who are just bureaucrats who are mad that Trump won't let them do their bureaucrat stuff. That's the counter argument. And I think that's something that I think can only really be overcome. And I hope the reason that we haven't heard yet from a lot of the people super close to the Trump administration that we really want to hear from, the Mattises, et cetera, is because I hope they're waiting for October.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.